See the ball off the tee, no penalties.
Has it been pretty consistent? Has it worked over the years for you?
Yes, sir. We always want to make sure that we're alert for any surprise onside. Getting into great track to where the ball is being kicked to, and then we never want to get any penalties on special teams, but just continue to emphasize that. It's one of the most critical negatives that you could have on a return unit. That was something last year I thought we did a really nice job on. We did not have any penalties on our kickoff return, and so that's something we got to continue with in that unit. But it's just a reminder as we take the field.
When you start game planning or putting in a game plan, how much of it is honing in on things you feel like you guys do well, and how much of it is your weaknesses?
Well, I mean, for game one, it's just, you have to do what you do well, and that's one of the things that's been nice of having a spring ball, having a full fall camp, is we have a much better sense of what and who this team is. Some of it's going to change though. I mean, as you get out there and who's going to show up at a high level whenever the lights are on. I mean, but we try to put ourselves in the best position with the information that we have coming into game one. If there's thoughts or if we feel like we can gain an advantage through a scheme or maybe something that we've seen on film, great. But in game one, we're playing a new coordinator. There's new personnel. I mean, most people are going to play to the strengths of what they do rather than just the scheme of what they try to implement. So there's still a lot of unknowns that will show up, and you got to adapt and adjust in the first one.
At the beginning of the camp, you talked about kind of finding an identity of this team. Have you kind of figured out what that identity is?
This is a team that's willing to work. It's willing to work. It's willing to push. We try to make our guys uncomfortable as often as possible so that they, in the moment, when maybe things aren't going, as well as it can for them, that they can respond in the right way. We play with emotion, we play with passion. We're trying to make sure that's a controlled passion, and part of that is going to wait to see what they do when the lights come on. But you got to prepare them for that throughout all the things we can do through 25 practices, and I like what I'm seeing. We're going to have a great week ahead in our preparation, continue to form that identity, but then it's got to show up come Sunday night. Miko is, his experience, leadership, he is definitely a calming presence, a guy that, I think has grown a lot, even though he's an older player, has grown a lot since he first got here. And, it's fun to see him compete. He loves playing the game. He really embraces the role of being a leader to others, and you always see him trying to talk to the younger players, and that's something that as a coach you love to see, because a lot of guys don't have to do that. Miko was a transfer into this program. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to play the full season last year, but he's definitely invested in the guys and is a true leader of this program.
Coach, how impressive you've been with Malik, how advanced he is in terms of route running, adjusting the ball, just those natural skills that he brings.
I think Malik has an opportunity to be a special player. We're looking for that consistency, play in and play out. And as a young player, it's something that has to be pushed. I love that. Even in the opportunity of having the spring game and playing well in that. And, he's really done a nice job throughout camp and being able to put quality practices back to back. And he's going to be put in a position. And so he's earned it. He's a guy that I think has unlimited potential to what he can accomplish. He's got to continue to work for that consistency.
Coach, you have a good relationship with Ben Simmons over at FAM. Can you talk about it from watching the other day in the quarterback club? Can you talk about just the importance that you put in both of you being faces in the community in Tallahassee, just how important it is to work?
I've got a ton of respect for Coach Simmons and the job that he does there at FAMU. When I first got here, he reached out almost immediately, and we've been able to build that relationship. A lot of respect for not only what they do on the field, but the impact that he tries to make off the field as well. And a lot of I believe that it's important for both programs to represent Tallahassee the right way, and I know both programs are heading in the right direction. Obviously, with Coach Simmons' leadership and what we're trying to do here. Yeah, it's really more. It's lower impact. We're going to go out there. It's going to be controlled. Very controlled tempo, but the intensity of the mental part of it is going to be at an all-time high. And so this is something that we'll go through think it's 55, 60 different situations that'll show up, and then I'm going to throw in as much adversity and sudden change. We might have a group out, and I'll pull a guy off the field due to a cramp or something that could show up, a helmet coming off. And so, make sure that everybody's locked in. The substitutions have to be on point. Coaches, communication, organization. And so, it's something I always like to do. And, we go through pregame. We go through what that's going to look like. I want everything to be organized. I want everything to be sharp, because if you can go out and have a great sense of what you're doing, it just builds in the confidence when we show up Sunday night of what it needs to look like.
Does the coaches run the bus?
It's just like a game.
Coach, do you think the crowd will have any influence next Sunday?
Oh, absolutely. They better. And, to say excited would be probably the biggest understatement of my life for what I'm looking forward to, running out of that tunnel and seeing a packed house here at Doak Campbell. And our fans have been ready for this. We have been ready for it, and we absolutely need them to make an incredible impact on this game.
The changes in the offensive game, especially at the college level, how much pressure is that put on linebackers compared to, you used to think of the guys who come downhill? But now it seems like there's a lot more responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, you create space, and that's something that offenses are trying to create it, defenses are trying to restrict it. But being able to try to force guys to play in space at the linebacker position is something that's really changed a lot over the last probably 10 to 12 years. It's funny, I had Coach Andrews out at practice. I guess it was last week, and that was the conversation. Talking about the one-back run game of the evolution of that, and just forcing defenses have to spread sideline to sideline, and just some of the challenges that presents. And so it's and that's you look at our defense and what we're trying to get to is just as athletic and as much speed as we can at those positions, and then with the mentality to come downhill and be able to knock people back. And so I like what I'm seeing. We've had a couple position changes. We moved Jadarius Green McKnight to the will backer position. He's taking to that. His guy's a runner and a hitter, coupled with Kalen DeLoach, Jamari Gaynor, Steven Dix, DJ Lundy. Those guys. I mean, those guys can play with speed, and so that's something that we have to see and has to show up.
How important in your 7-on-7 is it to give the quarterbacks the opportunity to make sure they kind of stay in the pocket and stay committed to looking at things downfield to translate?
Well, actually, we kind of mix it both. Both. There's times I want them to flush. We try to add a distraction in every 7-on-7. I want that to be a real life rep. And yes, it's easy to sit back there when you're just taking a clean drop and there's nothing flashing in front of you. I'll never have a rep where we don't have something flashing in front of the quarterback's face just to try to train his eyes. When you got to have the rhythm, you got to have timing, but really, I also look to see even in 7-on-7 if we'll force a scramble, we'll force something to be off rhythm, and how the guys adapt and adjust to that. So yes, it's good to be able to get the on-air looks, but I actually like the disruptions more.
All
right, no, keep going. You just keep waiting. You delaying me. All right, last question. Here we go. Just wait a second and ask it. All right.
Pokey and Keyshawn, are they giving you what you need leadership-wise, just production-wise right now?
Those are two guys that I think really have emerged and stepped up at a high level. Their love for this game, their love for their position, for this university is really at a very high level. And you're seeing them. Because they're surrounded by newcomers. That's a reality. And so, with their investment in other guys in that room and the way that they've been playing has really been impressive. So, they're going to have to show up big come game day. But you can see the confidence that both those guys have. Pokey from what the experience that he had last year, and then Keyshawn from really having a full year past that knee injury. And now that's an afterthought. And he's playing the game at a very high level, and I'm excited to see him come kickoff. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach. You're going to watch Hawaii game?
Yeah, I was waiting for